Righteous Felon Craft Jerky is the official jerky of Belly Up Sports. For over a decade, Righteous Felon Craft Jerky has led the American meat snack revolution by concocting delicious, adventurous, U.S.-sourced jerky recipes for uncompromising carnivores across the country. With 15 different flavors to choose from, Righteous Felon has all jerky lovers covered, and by using promo code BELLYUP, you will get 15% off your purchase at RighteousFelon.com. Do your taste buds a favor today and rip into a bag of Righteous Felon jerky.
The bad man's gone. The bad man is gone. And apparently Cristiano Ronaldo was absolutely correct.
Yeah, he might have been on something.
Yeah, so Erik ten Hag has been sacked. I don't really know what was the push, the moment that finally, the last straw for Manchester United. He's given a lot of chances, and I mean, I've talked about this plenty of times on the podcast about why Manchester United can't pull the plug on Ten Hag just yet, and I think it all comes down to the fact that they don't want to be wrong again. I think that's really what it was, and I think Arsenal kind of ruined everybody's thoughts on how to handle a coaching situation. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was a guy that was once Arteta out. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I know I'm a terrible Arsenal fan.
That's crazy. Look, bro, I understand. Honestly, I'm empathetic as also an Arsenal fan. With the Wenger out crowd to an extent, and with
I was never Wenger out.
Yeah, I wasn't really either of them. I just it's hard for me to like unless the manager's just lost everything his entire way. I can't think of a single time where I've been like pushing for someone out. At least when it comes to my European teams, because there's a lot more experience at that level. And MLS, different story. But yeah, man, I think that did change. I think how certain people view giving managers enough time. I don't think, despite what a lot of fans out there probably feel about the situation, I don't know if that was the issue. I really don't. I think with Ten Hag, that's why I'm really, really curious. I'm sure we'll talk about it. You know, how quickly they were able to identify Ruben Amorim as like the next manager and what he may do that's different. But with Ten Hag, there was a lot more, I think, that was to be determined with him. As much time as he was given, as much transfer budget allocation as he's been given to bring in players and change how the squad plays. It's kind of crazy, bro. They won 2 trophies and they still never established a clear identity on the field. You never saw it. I never once saw the method behind the madness. Like I never once saw what Ten Hag was trying to do with the team. They just seemed like a team that frankly was playing the exact opposite of what they were doing at Ajax when he was there, which was very control based, very not just possession, but legitimately just creating opportunity after opportunity. I remember watching his team in, I think it was the 2018 Champions League quarterfinals, or I believe it was the quarterfinals. Might have been round of 16, but just bossing Real Madrid. A bunch of kids.
That was a bunch of kids.
Yeah, a bunch of kids, you know, just coming in and kind of putting their stamp on a competition they really had no experience in. And it was what we knew Ten Hag to be. And bro, at United, I didn't see any of that. He flat out came out and said they're not going to play that way. And yet this new ownership group, after coming in, having an opportunity in the summer to let him go, find someone, they not only do they not let him go and keep him around, they give him another $200 million almost to go out and spend on players. And then they fire him in October. And so it's like, to me, look, Ten Hag, he has something to walk away from his legacy at United. Technically, since Fergie left, there haven't been many managers as successful as Ten Hag at United. But like, I got to question just some of the ownership decision making. Like, to be honest, everyone was bragging about Ineos and how much, how experienced they were, how much they were going to change the club. It looks like the same old to me. Looks like the Glazers overreacting to a scenario that they put themselves into after spending a ton of money, wasting more time, more resources, getting the fans' hopes up, and then shitting on them. I mean, it feels like the last 12 years at United have felt. I don't really feel bad for Ten Hag. I think he should have been out a while ago. I think my bigger question is now, what happens with the new manager? And even before then, what happens with the interim manager, Ruud van Nistelrooy? Bro, Ten Hag was gone for a single game, and Ruud had them scoring 5 on Leicester City for the first time. And like, I don't even know how long. I can't think of the last time Manchester United scored 5 in a game.
The EFL third round against Barnsley. 7-0.
Which was when?
September 17th.
Okay.
That's
Against
all. It was
Barnsley.
also Barnsley. So I mean,
Okay, how about this? Against the Premier League competition, because that's what Leicester City is, and I feel like that is probably years off. And it's crazy, man. Again, I can't. I wonder what happens if Rude at Old Trafford this weekend takes down Chelsea. What do you do if you're Ineos, right? Or what are you thinking, right? Smacks up Leicester City. They welcome Chelsea and Cole Palmer to Old Trafford, to the Theater of Dreams, and they give the fans a win. Like, is Amorim now even under more pressure before he ever starts the job? I don't know. To me, it's kind of an issue.
No, you say a lot of good things. Well, not obviously not good things, but I mean, you make a lot of good points. I mean, if you're an Arsenal fan, great points. I mean,
Facts, big facts.
but Manchester United has just the real point is the fact that like Manchester United has not recovered since the loss of Sir Alex Ferguson. Ever since he retired and handed the keys to David Moyes, technically their most successful guy has been Jose Mourinho, which is just it's a fun thing to just say, just at any time. Like and Edward's not even ever an asshole to me when it comes to like talking footy, but it's just fun to remind him like your best years was with Jose Mourinho, and he's just like shit, yeah.
All the fans would agree, man. All the fans would agree. And you know what, Mourinho, he's got to have like, did he get a tattoo of that trophy?
Oh, I constantly remind great to remind everybody about the 3 tattoos that he got on very, very old skin. It was a very fresh tattoo of the 3 trophies, with little balls on it reflecting the colors of the clubs that he's won it with, because he's once again the only manager to have won all 3 of the European cups. Maybe in a decreasing way, but still he won it, you know.
Hey man, before him, I mean, what other United manager since Fergie could really do it? I mean, at least a European trophy. I think that's
Not only
Mourinho,
is he the special one, but he is the only one.
the only one.
So
Yeah, agreed. He's, in fact, if we did a tier list today, would he not be at the top of all the managers since Fergie?
yeah. No, if we're talking about Manchester United, yeah. I mean, I would
Yeah,
love
that's what I'm saying.
I would love to put Jose Mourinho on top and just have like Pep at the bottom. And everyone
Nah,
just get
bro.
mad at me, and I'm like, I'm sorry. Has he won all 3 European competitions?
It's true. It's true. He's definitely Pep hasn't, bro. That's what I'm
Does
saying.
he
Like,
have a terrible tattoo on his arm?
and it's crazy that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer replaced him. Like when you really think about it, that's kind of wild. And got a lot of time with the team too. I spent a lot of money as well. And I heard there's even rumors he might come back into the fold. They might bring him back in like a staff function of some kind. I don't know how that's going to work. I heard rumors.
I think he's a really good like he's a vibes guy. I
Yeah,
think that's
for
one
sure.
thing for Ole Gunnar. I love Gunnar. I mean, I wish I could bring back
He just seems positive. You know what I mean? Like he's always like a good time.
very
Like
Norwegian. Very Norwegian, by the way.
just happy.
I just want to bring back the shirt. I miss that shirt. The in Ole we trust. Um, yeah, I miss that shirt. I need to bring that back one day. Anyways, but yeah, no, yeah, Ten Hag. I don't know. I think that there was a little bit of the weird thing was if there was a time to move on from a manager, like you mentioned, new ownership group, all that stuff. But if there was a time to move on and get a new manager, I think that this last summer was definitely the time because it just seemed like there was just names everywhere. Um, you can bring back the Zerbi again into that discussion. I mean, don't look at the El Clasique because that was terrible on his behalf. But I mean, and then you mentioned Ruben Amorim. He was a front runner for a lot of the available jobs. I mean, not Manchester United, but for Liverpool, hell, even Barcelona was even even a name for that. Arne Slot. I mean, I bet you right now, Manchester United fans are just like when they saw Arne Slot going to Liverpool, they're like, oh yeah, those Eredivisie guys they don't pan out here, man. They don't pan out, and then you know. And
And
now,
that's that they didn't go out, dude. Bro, they didn't even give him any reinforcements. They sign a new manager, and he doesn't get to sign anybody in the market he really wants to, and he still keeps winning. And it's like, damn, United fans just can't catch a break, man. It's tough.
yeah, man, it's wild, but yeah, like it's like, man, maybe we got the wrong bald Dutch guy. And because Arne Slot, I never knew who this guy was. I was like, oh, this is the guy that broke the streak for Ajax because what he did with Feyenoord.
Yeah.
But like, and now I didn't even think he was even an option. I thought Deserbi was going to get the Liverpool job, and clearly I was wrong about that because that guy went to France. But
Yeah.
like there was just names connected to jobs. Like it was just like apparently this was the time to have manager job openings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Manchester United didn't even try. And I think once again, I think it goes back to the whole look how Arsenal was with Arteta. They were patient with him. And like I said, I was an Arteta out guy, and the reason why was just because I was like, they're not getting results, and in reality, the roster was just shit.
The roster was trash. Yeah.
It was
Big
a
trash.
terrible roster. Like dude, like you guys want to know how bad it was? I was trying to sell myself on Bellerin. Like I was like all in it. I was like maybe because his name was Hector. I don't know, but I was like this guy's gonna be something, guys.
The only roster that was worse in those years, and even like leading up to like 2022, I guess you could say when we started getting the title contention runs, was Barcelona's like 2020 roster or 2021. That's the only one, and probably in European football, that was worse than that. In my opinion, just watching those teams like week in and week out. But yeah, bro, Arteta he needed time. He had the vision. He wanted to play a certain style. He had a lot of dead wood to get rid of. I just think Ten Hag needed to be courageous because look at the end result. Look at the end result. Like it was probably going to end this way, the way you were playing anyway. So,
oh, he was courageous. He was courageous by benching Ronaldo.
bro, I mean, sure. I think personally, maybe there's like, you heard about the stories, right? Like he was never even letting Ronaldo into the locker rooms and shit like that. Like, I think maybe there's like an ego battle there that, and an egotistical side of Ten Hag that we don't know about, maybe, but putting all that aside, bro, just be courageous on the field, right? Like go at teams, right? You actually have some decent players, some decent attackers that are young, hungry, that are ready to prove it, but with no identity, what are they banking on? They're banking on individual brilliance. That's really it. There's no system that's setting them up for success. No system that's giving them an identity, an idea of what to do when they get the ball, who to look for. All those things, bro, are super important when a new manager comes in. And then Ten Hag, bro, the one thing that actually irked me more than him not having an identity, especially towards the end, was the constant excuses, right? The constant, well, look how injured our squad is. Like, of course we're not going to play at our best. Bro, what did Arteta say? Like, literally the next day, when we think about all of Arsenal's injuries so far this year. I mean, it's part of the challenge, We next guy will play, and we're gonna figure this out together. Like, that's exactly what you want from a manager, and not because it's the right thing to say publicly, but because it's the right message to send to the locker room.
Also, if you're Manchester United, you have no excuse. You spent just as much as Chelsea has.
Yeah,
like,
bro, it's an insane amount of money, but just think about it, right? We've both been athletes. Like, imagine you just hearing the press conferences and you hear your coach give you an excuse. We're not going to play at our best because half our squad's injured. So fuck it. Like, if we lose, I have an excuse. It's built in. We're not at 100%.
Man, now that you say that, I kind of get why Xavi got sacked. So
yeah, bro, that too, right? That's the one thing that I used to always gripe about with Xavi, and I would fight Hoffman, Barca Boy 103 on this all the time. I know we have an attachment to the manager, to the player, but these little excuses, they just weaken the mentality. They give the players an out.
Like, if that's how you feel, keep it within closed doors. Don't say that to the press. Like,
yeah, bro. Don't try to save face.
Like, you don't tell Barca fans, like, hey, guys, we're going to try. We're not going to win, but we're going to try to beat Real Madrid.
Yeah,
and, I mean, Hansi Flick was just like, have you guys run a mile yet? Like, Hansi Flick literally is Denzel Washington from Remember the Titans. Like, you drop a pass, you run a mile. Like, honestly, that's
facts,
great,
bro. That's a great analogy. Like, all it took, right, was like just a switching of the mentality, and that's what I'm saying. Like, so much can be solved with that, but if you're giving your team an out or excuse every step along the way, you're never going to turn this shit around, and you're never going to get the new players on the same page as the old team. The old guys are gonna be like, "Hey, listen, don't even try, bro. Like, for real. Like, we're gonna fucking lose anyway." Do you think
at one point, for Ten Hag at least, seeing the criticism that he was constantly, because Manchester United is not an easy job it's a high profile job. It's the English media is probably one of the most irritating media. No offense, England, but you guys you guys are essentially the New York media when it comes to your sport, and I mean respectively so. You have to be that way.
Yeah.
You invented it. But I mean the thing is also like, do you think that at one point Ten Hag was just I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't? Like, do you think there was a little bit of defeat in him going into this season, or maybe at some point in the season?
Yes, this season, yes. It's probably the only season where I felt like he knew his back was against the wall. He knew that a lot was stacked against him. And that's why I thought, even with the FA Cup win, it's almost like with the win, maybe some of the vibes were there. And he was like, oh, yeah, we could definitely use this as a springboard to go into next season positively. And we signed a few more players. It'll all work out. But I think a bigger part of him was like, maybe like, damn, like, okay, like, if I guess, yeah, I have to continue, right? I can't like win a trophy and then just bounce. And the same thing with Ineos to an extent, right? He won. What are the fans going to say if we sack the manager right after a trophy and the next one doesn't work out? So maybe they
Because
both.
there was those rumors. There was those
Yeah.
rumors that like they were gonna fire him at the end of the FA Cup final, and I think winning the FA Cup final saved him a few months, I guess you can say at this point now.
I think it should. I think it shouldn't have though. Like for me, it's the perfect ending to that story, to that chapter of Manchester United. Like Ten Hag saves a little bit of reputation, reminds the world that he can still win a trophy, right? Even with the team that he had for injured or whatever, and it allows Ineos to have a clean start, to firmly put their ownership imprint on a new squad, a new team, different mentality, hopefully, and you get a full summer to decide who that person's going to be. I just felt like when your back's up against the wall in the middle of the season, you're 14th place. You don't have that time. You don't have that luxury, and you don't have options. Like teams are way less willing to sell off a manager in the middle of the season. You're gonna have to pay, spend some money after you've already given Ten Hag almost 200 million in reinforcements.
and that new manager is not going to get a transfer window till January. So I
Yeah,
mean,
bro, he's out with what he's got, and he's in his own right. Amorim is a good manager. We've seen that with Sporting, but I don't know, man. Just so much of this has me questioning Ineos and Ten Hag. I mean, he still won 2 trophies at United. I'm sure whether he ends up in another league or elsewhere that he probably will bounce back. I don't know if it'll be the Premier League. I really don't, but I think he will. But it felt like this was already overdue.
yeah, and I mean, I think it honestly should have been way sooner to fire him at this point because you're talking about like embarrassing losses. The 3-0 loss to Liverpool. And once again, that the other Dutch manager that's bald that didn't do much with Liverpool. He didn't add much things to it. The only thing he did was bench Darwin Nunez and started Diego Jota, which that hurts my pride about me hyping up that guy. But and then even more, you got embarrassed by Tottenham. That I would have fired you after that, because how the hell do you use the fucking Tottenham?
Yeah.
I'm sure Tottenham fans are not at this point. I've said a lot of things about Tottenham fans. They can all go to hell. But and then you lose to West Ham. And then the last not Champions League, Europa League matches have not been great. A 1-1 draw to 20, a 3-3 draw to Porto, a 1-1 draw to freaking Jose Mourinho getting the last laugh. Like it's just not been great for Manchester United. Like at any point, you should have got fired. You drew to Aston Villa 0-0, and you're sitting in, I think, 14th place right now in the Premier League. It has not been great. I feel so bad for your friend, by the way, on at Yanks of the Round Table. Started off rough in the picks, and now Manchester United is just oof.
Max is he's slowly getting safer with the picks and climbing back up, but it's a rough go around right now for sure. He's bro, and he's a Yankees fan.
Okay, now I don't feel as bad. Now I don't feel as bad. You know what? If you want, sign up for the jersey giveaway. Maybe you can win that. Yeah, maybe not. But you need a win. But yeah, I think at this point, anytime, I think honestly, the ownership had any opportunity to just end the bleeding, just stop the bleeding at this point because it hasn't gotten better. And you fire him, you have Ruben, which I don't think it was a bad idea to at least finish off the year with Rude as the interim guy. Maybe bring in the new guy around, maybe going into the January transfer window.
Yeah.
To at least let the new guy have some sort of assessment of the team before going into back in season. But I mean, yeah, a 5-2 win against Leicester City, which was a really good performance, by the way. Everybody's like, where the hell was this? Where the hell was all this from? And once again, you're talking about Ruud van Nistelrooy, a very attack-minded guy, obviously, but even from his coach, I'm still shocked at the fact that this guy left his job to become an assistant at Manchester United. Like that just tells you how much this guy loves Man U, because I don't know if legend's the right word for him, but obviously a guy that understands what it means to play for Manchester United, I think is the best way to say it.
Yeah.
But he's played for other big clubs as well. And, he comes in, he's like, I got to steer the ship, right? But, you're Van Nistelrooy right now. Like, did you want this job, or do you think he kind of understood what his role was going to be in the situation?
I think he thought there was a chance this could happen and that realistically he could be given some time to be the interim. That's what I think. I think you take that risk, and it just so happens it's a club that you have a legacy at, that you have probably a lot of love for. So there's an emotional component to it too. But I really think he thought, look, Ten Hag is on his last wheels, 100%. And if he doesn't get the job done, which you're not cheering for that, he wants United to be successful, but still thinking about his own career, there could be an opportunity for me to do what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did and be the next interim that maybe becomes their next long-term manager. We know that not to be true now. But that's what I'm saying. I think the question becomes even bigger after this weekend. It really does. Like, if United take down Chelsea, and not just in a crazy, because this can be considered its own little unique rivalry, at least in the Premier League era. United and Chelsea have been just a classic match time and time again. Some of that could take over, but if they take down Chelsea and he goes 2 for 2 and looks pretty good like he did against Leicester City, I don't know, man. Amorim might be not rethinking it, but it's just like the pressure piles on. The more wins Ruud gets while he's an interim, yeah, it'll be there. If Amorim can't keep that going, yeah, man, the criticism for both him and for Ineos gets much louder.